other organizations.
U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. All statements, other than statements of historical facts, included in this presentation that address activities, events, or developments that a company believes or anticipates will or may occur in the future are forward-looking statements. Such forward-looking statements involve known and unknown risks, uncertainties, and other factors which may cause the actual results, performance, or achievements of the company to be materially different from any future results, performance, or achievements expressed or implied by such forward-looking statements. Such factors include general economic and business conditions, the ability to acquire and develop specific projects, the ability to fund operations, healthcare service demands, changes in healthcare practices, government regulation, and other factors which the company has little or no control. The company does not intend and is not obligated to update publicly any forward-looking statements. The contents of this presentation should be considered in conjunction with the warning and cautionary statements contained in the company's recent filings with the SEC. All right, back to you, Art.
Actually, who's going to take it next? Dr. Donovan?
Next slide.
It should be.
I'd like to welcome everyone to Q15 year end. It's been a very busy and productive year, so we have a lot to discuss, and we'll try to move through this as quick as possible. The slide up shows the various things happening in healthcare. You know that medicine is under attack. Reimbursement is down due to the Affordable Care Act. Hospitals, doctors are all looking for new revenue centers. So as we talk about spine injury solutions, we're a solution company for hospitals, doctors, patients. And under the hospital, we'll come back to some of this, but we've developed the Halo RX project, and David will talk about that later, but it'll give you some ideas of things that we're exploring. Under physician practices, and I know this very well because I'm in active practice, doctors like me who treat people who have been injured in auto accidents are looking for new revenue centers. And it has become very clear, if you're going to be in this arena, doctors have to understand Colossus software, and they have to understand how can we provide visually based diagnosis and support. On the call today, we have Dr. Matt DiCatano from Dallas, who will be speaking about Colossus and why we have teamed up with Dr. Matt. The key to everything is really coming down to transparency. In other words, we as providers, we want to validate the treatment that we're providing. And this could be doing specialized testing on range of motion to show instability from ligament tears that don't show up on MRI. And we have Dr. Jeffrey Crunk, who will talk about that, to the point of where we want to use our video technology to reduce fraud. And this is an issue that covers all aspects, the defense side, the plaintiff side. What we want to be able to do is show exactly what has been done, and we're developing programs for a storyboard so we can video record objectively what's been provided in early stage diagnostics and later stage the diagnosis and treatment. The use of the Halo, we feel that there's some significant opportunities here. Education, training. We've been approached by some cadaver labs that are very interested in this. In the video teleshare we have developed, and David will speak about this, we were approached by a company that's in the video streaming business, and they really want to get into doctors' offices. So we've been approached to develop some beta test sites, which we've done, and David will talk about it. Next question. Next slide, sorry. When we talk about major developments, it's been a busy year. I'm just going to hit on a few areas. We changed the name to Spine Injury Solutions. We're a solution company. We've opened a new affiliate in Tyler, Texas. We've signed an agreement with Dr. Gaetano in Dallas, and he's the CEO of the Personal Injury Institute, and he understands training with Colossus and so forth. And as you know, Dr. Jeffrey Crunk came on our board of directors. So we're bringing in added talent who can help us move on to the next level. In 2015, we got the patent for the QVH. We got all the testing that was approved both for US and the CE mark for the EU. And we've explored various leasing options that are be available for our customers. In the third vertical, we've been approached about how can we videotape open surgeries from multiple views. And we did a test in the Midwest. It proved that David used some modification to QVH, he calls it QVH RX, that would be used for open procedures, be it abdominal procedures, hip procedures, knee procedures. But it's the next step that makes sense for the visually based objective data. And as I mentioned, we brought on Dr. Crunk. Next slide. This arena that we're in, both chronic pain and auto accidents. In chronic pain, this means you've had pain for 3 months or longer. It is larger than diabetic, cancer, and CV. It's a very large market. And if you notice at the bottom, this affects 126 million adults per year. And we referenced Dr. Crunk. Jeff, can you talk about injury is the primary event that initiates the disease of chronic pain?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Donovan. Injury is the event, it's primary event that initiates the disease of chronic pain. We know the chronic pain numbers out there. We also know that in the market, just like you're stating, what has to occur is transparency. Transparency of procedures has to be openly acknowledged. Nothing can be hidden anymore, which is what transparency is. Objectivity has to be improved. That means we have to have objective markers or objective understanding of what these injuries cause. And then we have to have doctors that can produce or get better results with them. So we're all interested in that, very aligned with, you know, what quad video halo and visual based diagnostics are all about, is improving all of those areas so that we can make a huge impact into this market. There's never been a better time to be in this market if you actually have solutions, and you have solutions that work, solutions that assist the providers. You take the QVC, you take the quad video halo system, and we know that anytime somebody is videoed, you're going to perform better, you're going to get better results, and it does provide full transparency. So, you know, the market is lining up perfectly for what we deliver as a company. And, you know, the fact that we can provide these solutions, there's never been a better time in this market, and it is a very, very large market.
Excellent comments. As we look at this slide, we're talking about chronic pain. today, in the Pain Medicine News, dated March 28, 2016, there's a report from the American Society of Anesthesiologists. In 2015, they just presented this. They took blood samples from patients after motor vehicle accidents, and it revealed significant elevation in microRNA. This is something that we can test with blood. And it found in this study, the higher the level of microRNA, the greater chance this patient is going to go on to chronic pain. And chronic pain is a huge problem. As it says on this slide right here, it affects more than 1 in 10 American adults. And this new study that just came out means that we on the front end hopefully will be able to be studying the blood of patients to try to determine how do we prevent people from getting into chronic pain. Next slide. The mission for Spine Injury Solutions, you can look at it in 3 ways. We provide solutions, we provide transparency, and we educate doctors and providers who will help us be able to provide the best treatment for these patients. Next slide. We've been very pleased in March of this year. We signed a sales and marketing agreement with Dr. Matthew DeCatano, who's the CEO and founder of Personal Injury Institute. Dr. Matt is a certified instructor in Colossus, and it's imperative that you understand Colossus as you're providing treatment. And it's my pleasure to have Dr. Matt, who's on this call, to say some words about marketing and sales in dealing with Halo, Colossus, and so forth. Dr. Matt?
Sure. Well, thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity, Dr. Donovan, to be on the call. After seeing this product, I've worked with hundreds of doctors across the United States, including pain management, surgery, and this product by itself separates the arena. And with the proof that the injuries were actually treated is significant. And working with doctors managing thousands of cases, this product really is going to be a separator. And reason why Colossus is so important in this particular space is that it is the #1 bodily injury claims analysis system in the world. And what that means is that they use this software to control the claims process. So when there's a case that's settling, the amount of money is filtered through the software, controlling the adjusters and their ability to write checks. And every insurance company has the right, the option to choose to use it. To give an example, Allstate uses Colossus, the largest user in the United States. They pay approximately $30 to $50 million a year to use it, and it's probably saving them close to $3 billion a year. By controlling those damages, they're using it on cases where Halo doesn't exist. And I believe with this system, it's going to allow the adjusters to see a stronger case. It's going to give the defense attorney a clearer identifying factor with the case, where they're going to make a decision whether they want to move forward with this. And it excites me to know this, because with working with doctors that are treating and bills being cut, I believe that this will kind of create a success strategy here. Now, from a marketing standpoint, I'm very excited because I have a lot of resources, a lot of support in this particular area. And if we can dig deeper on exactly where we're going to take this product, I know that we have the right team in position to assist us and expanding in different ways, plus the education component. So with those factors being said, Dr. Donovan, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted me to address.
We'll get back to you, Matt, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions about how you work with us. How is Colossus involved? I know that Colossus is an expert system, and it's basically an artificial intelligence program. So I'm sure that there's going to be some questions. I'm going to turn it back over to our CFO, Joan Bergeron, who will now talk about some of the numbers for 15.
Thank you, Dr. Donovan. The first slide we're looking at is just a snapshot of at 12/31. Basically, the thing I'd like to emphasize to you is that we have a 2.5 to 1 positive working capital ratio. We have 11.1 million in gross AR. We've got a 46% inside ownership. We've got about 700 shareholders. And we have net operating losses through 2035, $9.4 million. Next slide, please. All right, here's the condensed P&L from 2015 versus 2014. As you can tell, there was improvement. I mean, it's still not where we want to be. We don't like losses, but it is an improvement. We had over, we had a change of about $635,000 in our net income. And the main reasons for that are threefold. One is that our collection percentage increased in 2015. And this allowed our estimate for revenue to be higher. It went from 48 to 52% in 2015. Revenue is trued up at the time of collection, but since our historical collections for 2015 have been higher, like 52 from 48, we have a higher estimate of our income, which has led to a higher gross margin. The second thing we had is we had fewer SG&A expenses as we cut our marketing costs for the Quad Video Halo, had less people and lower operating costs. We had lower director and officer compensation, consulting costs, legal fees, travel costs, and marketing costs in 2015 from 2014. Finally, the interest costs were down as we paid the high interest rates loan of 10 and 12% in early 2015 from the line of credit at Wells Fargo. The line of credit at Wells Fargo has about a 2.42% interest. Additionally, in 2014, we had some non-cash charges relating to warrants and options on certain debt rearrangements. Finally, we would tell you that we went from our earnings per share, went from a negative 9 cents in 2014 to a negative nickel in 2015. And finally, I wanted to tell you that we had total non-cash charges in 2015 of $682,000 compared to $815,000 in 2014. So if you took the 682 from the million, you would see that these results are not as bad as they look on paper. Next slide, please. This is basically the fourth quarter. It shows the revenue from 2015 to 2014, a remarkable difference in the revenue, and this all leads back to the higher revenue percentages, which drove the net loss from being $665,000 to $239,000. Next slide, please. And this, the next, is the condensed balance sheet. The things that it speaks for itself, but we want to make sure again that you realize that we have a current ratio of 2.5 to 1. We have a shareholders book value of 18 cents per share. We have ample cash to continue to do our core business and our QVH development. And I guess with that, you can ask questions later on. With that, I will hand it back to Dr. Donovan.
On this next slide, we're talking about the number of cases. Since we've started, we have provided treatment to 4,516 patients, and that resulted in procedures of 7,912. Next slide. This slide shows the collections on the cases, and with newer processes that have been developed, the percent of collections has increased. Since the beginning, there have been 165 cases out of the total number that were failures, which is 3.7%. I feel that's an acceptable failure rate here over now 6 years. Next slide. Since inception, our average case is settled for $6,023. We still have over 2,300 cases already pre-funded. To date, we've collected $13.2 million, and there was less than $3.5 million in funding from the beginning. So we raised $3.5 million, and to date we've been able to collect 13.2. And as I mentioned, only 165 cases were failures and no collections. I believe this is convincing evidence that this business model works. Next slide. We were approached in 15 to see if we could modify QVH and switch it to a different type of problem to resolve for some surgeons. So David modified the QVH, went to a major teaching institution, and demonstrated, yes, we can use the modified technology for various types of open procedures. Because remember, we were only using this for procedures dealing with the C-arm and injections. I feel this is the QVH-RX has opened a whole new opportunity for us, and we're in discussions with some hospitals to do modified QVH for open surgical procedures. Next slide. When we look at the future shareholder value, and that's what we're all interested in here because we're all shareholders, we need to leverage the technology, the QVH. We need to bring in additional visually based testing procedures. We need to educate doctors on how systems work and to use, and that's where Dr. Matt's going to be very involved. That's going to provide additional future shareholder value. The CE mark we feel is significant because we have been approached about the EU because they need it there just like we need it here for visually based testing to rule out fraud and so forth. Next slide. As we look ahead, 15 was, to me, a very busy and a good year. We need to build on this right now. So our goals in 16 is to attract additional affiliate doctors for the core business model. Dr. Matt and Dr. Jeff are going to be very involved with that. We're developing, and David is going to talk about the video teleshare. We were approached to develop something by a third-party company that was in video streaming. And we now, and David will talk about it, we've set up some test sites. And we're redesigning the marketing and sales department, and Dr. Matt's going to be very involved with that. I truly, 2016 is going to be a very productive and beneficial year for all of us who are shareholders. Next slide. I want to turn it over to David now to talk about some of the things that he's been developing and with quad video and spin-offs. David?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. David Spencer here, Quad Video Halo. Next slide, please. Want to catch you guys up on some developments, some milestones, things that we've achieved in the last year. The big UL certification came across for compliance that we knew that we needed for OR market penetration, and also at the clinical level to isolate any patient safety issues. So that was the compliance testing you guys have all heard about that went on for the last year. So we were all up in good shape, got that certification the first part of the year. So when you parallel that with the patent, we feel we've got a strong foothold with protection, safety, and security on our product in the OR and at the clinical level as well. Next slide, please. As well as with the complement of the Halo cart inside of the clinical environment, we've continued our push for the iPad application product development. We've reached a milestone with that. We are now at the final stages of approval for that to complement that, which in line, as we've found out with other vertical markets, with the QVH Care, the video teleshare that Dr. Donovan has briefly discussed. This application, apps, as we all know, are the future. We use them daily. We rely on them for information. So our common approach with it was that why not bring it to the markets for doctors and patients to leverage on it as well. So with that being said, the iPad application will inherit all of the properties at a clinical level that you see with the medical cart, but now will also allow remote viewing, collaboration, synergism, and things of that nature, that things that can be used with the app. Next slide, please. So with the app, the Quad Video Halo at the medical cart, all of that in store, these are the four main areas that we are focusing now on and making a full sprint to get proposals out there and prospecting on potential clients, and we've got excellent feedback on it this year. It started out fantastic. We've had some very power players hit the table with us and want to align with us and see our product go to fruition with them. And that being at the mass tort level, finding some hospitals to endorse us. The attorneys certainly want it. The recordings with the QVH Halo RX, which is our surgical product. And then the Halo, just to give everybody a quick overview, the Halo is the clinical product, and it could be introduced in the OR if the C-arm needs to be and the clamp need to be applied. But the product that is specific to operating rooms with all the different parameters, all the different medical devices that are out there, the product that we have developed for that, for recording, that mass tort, for example, would fall into that arena, is the Halo RX. Thirdly, what we have found is hospitals not only demand the recordings to be used for teaching and litigation, but it's also a good collaboration tool. So we've opened the door with a video teleshare, and we partnered with one of the leading providers of HIPAA compliant backbones. So what that means is that when we're broadcasting information that need be x-rays, live video, doing consulting, we've got them with the eyes and ears on the ground, making sure that everybody's safe, just as if you were at a store swiping your debit or credit card. The other thing that we've also tied up with on a partnership is with Box.com, and we're going to leverage them from a cloud storage standpoint that also as well offers that security that we all need at the end of the day to make sure that our patient information is kept safe. Box has done a fantastic job with that. We've deployed our teleshare, which is called QVH Care, and that allows doctors to be able to remotely work with patients and without having to incur travel time, and also faster responses. With that being said, with those three products, we feel that these four markets that you're seeing on your screen right now are where we need to be and what we're focusing on, and we are making a full sprint with all these since the certification. So next slide, please. So you've heard Bill touch on this, and then I'll explain a little bit further. This, as you're seeing in this slide, is QVH Care, and we have successfully deployed it in 3 locations out in Midland, Houston, and Tyler as well. And that allows the physician to see the patients before the consult and things of that nature, reducing travel costs, and then also quicker turnaround times. This sets the pace. This is where the market's going. Everybody's used to FaceTime, Skyping, things of that nature, and we're seeing huge benefits for it in healthcare to get instant responses from your doctor. So this is a good product to watch. And I guess that's it at this point. I'm going to go back to trying to dream up some new products and get these things sold. So I appreciate it. I'm going to pass it off to Bill.
We're going to get to questions in about 1 minute, but here in conclusion, there was a lot of things happen in 2015. I think 2016 is going to be a year of opportunities. We know the problems in medicine. I mentioned them earlier. It's under attack. Revenues are down. And I think for us, the shareholders, I think what we need to remember, this business model works. Even after shutting down Florida and South Texas, the questions that we need to ask, are there new markets that offer similar growth revenue opportunities without the fundamental challenges in Florida? The answer is yes. Are we still able to collect monies even if we're no longer working in the market? The answer is yes. And where I see the opportunities is working with Dr. Jeff and Dr. Matt into new areas with education of the doctors, because this will create more affiliated doctors. So I'm looking forward to 2016. Let's open it to questions. I think there's a method you can send them an email or on the computer, and we'll proceed to try to answer all your questions. But I want to thank our shareholders. We've had ups and downs over the years, but management and the people involved are working every day because we have something that's very special and it's needed. And we're going to continue to work hard and make this a success.
Okay, start asking a few questions. If you would, on the right-hand side, you'll see the question box. We've got a couple of questions starting to appear right now. Let's see what I've got here. This is one of the slides mentioned negotiating the opening of an office in Germany. How soon do you expect this to happen, and what products would be of most interest in Germany?
Let me answer that. We were approached by a distributor in Eastern Germany that would handle Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. They're very wired into teaching hospitals, and for this type of situation, they're very interested in a teaching environment, and the QVH is perfect for a teaching environment. We're trying to work out how we handle any liability issues from the distributor standpoint and ours. So this is ongoing, but we were approached about how could we do something in a unique environment, because they're with a lot of the teaching hospitals. And hopefully we'll have something to report on that in 16.
Okay, from Mike Andrews, will there be a third-party sale of the QVH in 2016?
Yes.
I hope so. You can be a little more enthusiastic than that, I would think.
Well, no, that's pretty straightforward. I thought there was going to be several things we were going to announce by Q1, but they've been delayed.
He didn't say second quarter, you know. He said the whole year by 2016.
Yeah, I know that, and that's the reason I'm saying.
Okay.
I feel that, yes, we will have, we're working on some interesting ways, and this is going to blend in, and Dr. Matt and I have talked about this at length. With the teaching, we will start a certain type of involvement with QVH. We then discuss bringing them to a second level and then a third level. Do I expect we're going to have sales in 2016? Yes.
A question for Dr. Gaetano. Can you explain in a minute or two just how Colossus software works to evaluate cases?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. And so the software is designed, it's a nationwide product. So software is being offered by, let's say, State Farm is using it, and I use their name because they are. So it's the most largest user in the United States. So what they do is they allow the adjuster to take information about a claim. So let's say there's an injured individual. Let's say they have a disc injury. They go see Dr. Donovan. Dr. Donovan does an evaluation, treats the patient. The patient may have several different providers, might be orthopedist, chiropractic rehabilitative services, MRIs, and then there's a total of bills, we'll call it $30,000. So the attorney that might be associated with that case will then work up the case and create a profile of that case. They'll send that case over to Allstate. Allstate's adjuster is required to enter the information into the software. If the information's entered into the software, it's going to create a value based on the information that is submitted. But with Quad Video Halo, what it's going to do, it's going to change how the adjuster is going to see the case, as well as what the next step would be. And from what we've seen is that most defense firms will not want to take this case to court, and therefore the value increases based on what we're seeing on our side. So it's a filtering system to basically control adjusters. They're not allowed to create an offer without the information being entered into the system first. Then they're allowed to call the attorney with an offer. But the system is designed to control the adjuster.
And a follow-up question for Dr. Gaetano.
Let me, can I add just one thing to what Dr. Matt said? Colossus is a trade name for a software program, which is licensed for use by Continuum Company, Inc. Continuum is based here in Texas. It's a subsidiary of Computer Sciences Corporation. It's a relational database, and it's actually the world's largest commercial expert, one of the world's largest commercial expert systems. So you can go to Computer Sciences Corporation or Continuum to learn more how it originally was developed in Australia, then it was brought here. But what Matt gives seminars across the country on Colossus to hundreds and hundreds of doctors. And we feel that there's opportunities for marketing and sales, learning from how Matt has approached and introduced Colossus. What I can tell you as a practicing surgeon, Colossus has actually made me a better doctor because it makes you to be very specific and attention to detail. So Colossus actually helps provide better health care for these injured patients.
And then follow-up question for Dr. Gaetano. Says, you seemed quite excited about the QVH. Excuse me a minute. How would you envision interfacing the QVH with your existing program? And the second part of that question is, who do you think the primary driver would be, a doctor or an attorney that you would think would be more apt to buy the product?
Okay. Well, we'll start with the first question. As it pertains to this product, as I had identified it, and I think I shared it with Dr. Donovan, I think this product in the personal injury arena is as valuable as the MRI is perceived in the personal injury arena, except that it's documenting the actual event and of the treatment that's being rendered. And I also see an advancement of this where the treating rehab doctor, the chiropractor, the physical therapist, there could be an add-on product that Halo already kind of creates, and that ties in with the documentation. So then documentation is provided to the adjuster. The video and the documentation is answering all these factors that the adjuster now is going to enter into Colossus. So I see some add-ons. So I'm very excited just based on what I've been able to see in it. It was a no-brainer the moment I saw it, and then as I got to speak with Dr. Donovan, it just made complete sense. Now, I see the end product being mostly the doctor, but I see the education component tying into both, because the physician, if it's a pain management, orthopedist, anesthesiologist, I think they'll understand, but there still needs to be education for how it will lay out, and then the attorneys need to understand what the value is and how it makes sense to them. Now, because it's video, it makes complete sense. And the attorneys that I've shared it with just recently at a seminar that I did in New Orleans, the attorneys were very excited, and they said, is it here yet? And it was in New Orleans, and I'm working on those guys as we speak. So I do see this branching off into different cities, and we actually have some traction right now, but I'll let Dr. Donovan kind of maybe explain that.
Okay, from Harold Gabori, well, here's a question for you. Why don't we use short TV ads across the states to get the doctor's attention? Well, that's a question. Whoever wants to take that one.
I think that the best way to do this is to take what Dr. Matt has done and what Dr. Jeff has done. They do webinars and seminars to the doctors, the therapists who are involved in treating people in auto accidents. That's our best way to get the people involved to understand what our technology does. And as Dr. Matt just mentioned, parallel with this, the various types of meetings he puts on, or CLEs. It's both sides of the fence. And on dealing with the attorneys, either defense or plaintiff, it really doesn't matter. You're going to rule out fraud, and fraud is a huge problem in healthcare. If somebody says they did such and such a procedure, well, fine, show us the video. If not, well, maybe the procedure wasn't done. So I don't think advertising on TV is what we need, but we need a very focused, laser approach, and doing what Dr. Matt and what Dr. Jeff have been doing. This is why these two guys are such an addition to the company, and we've been working to get them very involved. So this is our internal thinking.
And Lee Gao has actually 3 questions. First one is, well, here we go again. We know it's going to be at least one. He said, does the company have any sales projections for Halo in 2016?
No, we're not going to give any projections. You know, some people in the past have said some things, but no, it's, you know, let's see at June, July, August what's been done in Q2, and then maybe we can say there's certain things in the pipeline for the rest of the year. But no, we're not going to give any projections.
2, how much of the dribbling monthly 20,000 shares of stock are left in total? And I think that's our friend up in Utah's shares. They dribble out every month.
Yeah, he releases 20,000 shares a month, and I think it's down to 97,000 now. It could be lower.
Yeah. Well, it's
I
been
could
a number of years.
Yeah. I think it's under 100.
About the QVH care. About the QVH care. What is the price tag of the suite?
Well, here, let me have David. Hold on. QVH care, they want to know what the price tag of the suite is.
Well, with the current deployment that we have, that we've done the internal tests with, the price tag is going to be contingent on where our HIPAA backbone provider, what they're going to come back with us on bandwidth. So we'll be releasing that information probably here in the next month or two once we finalize all of that and get the deal going. But we'll certainly be more than happy to answer that. Again, this was one of these that we put together literally within the last 3 weeks. Had development, software, hardware, everything created, put it in, deployed it, and have had expressed interest in it. So we're going to start building out those proposals now. So that answer can't be answered right now, but I would certainly do it if I could. So I'll be releasing that soon.
Okay.
I just went and checked some paperwork. There's 80,000 shares left on that 20,000.
That's a long way down in a lot of years from what, 1 million to?
Yeah.
Wow. We'll have to celebrate. Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Another question from Legal. Could you please explain more about the strategic marketing partnership with Personal Injury Institute? I think Dr. Gaetano kind of told us a little more about it. I don't know if you want to expand on it any more than that.
I'll be happy to. Yeah, as it pertains to some ideas, I have a lot of support in terms of copywriting and some strategy on how to target market. And I think Dr. Donovan is right on point. I think if we look at who the target market's going to be for this particular product, I would say pain management, anesthesiology, orthopedics, just to name 3. And if we target those and we conduct some webinars where we create leverage in this particular marketplace, that's going to be strategic. If any of those providers are looking to use that product, we can also set up a marketing platform for each of them so they'll be able to grow and use this product very successfully. We have that set up with the Institute where we can put marketers on the ground in any particular city, which would be supportive of their purchase of this product. And then we would do the training necessary for those marketers to represent Halo, to explain it so that they can gain traction faster. And so I think with the purchase price of the Halo, and then if there was some marketing component built in with that, it's going to make it a lot more attractive for a provider to use it. And I know we have all that infrastructure set currently to be able to assist with that.
Okay. Let's see here. William Ryan says, seems like the QVRX might have a significant utilization via telemedicine in rural hospitals as they network with major medical centers in a satellite capacity. Do you foresee pursuing that section of the telemedicine capacity of QVH during 2016?
That's a great question. This is why, well, we were approached by, and David mentioned it, a video streaming company. It's a big company, and they wanted to get in to testing stuff out for exactly what the question deals with. So we've installed this, and we're testing it to see how it would work out. But let me tell you, video teleshare systems, the population growth has created a need for this, both domestic and international. So I think we're going to have more to say about that this year. And is there a need for it? Yes. And do I think our partners that we're dealing with would be a great partner? Absolutely. But let's wait and see how it works out. But we would keep you advised on this. Absolutely.
Okay, Herb Berman, how hot and ready are future affiliates to get started? I guess legacy affiliates?
Very hot. We're dealing between 3 and 5 right now, that want to get involved. And we have some people today that normally be on this call. They're out of town. They're out doing deals right now. So it's like everything in medicine. Things take time. But we know that model works, and we're going to collaborate with both Dr. Matt and Dr. Jeff in doing an increasing number of affiliates. And Dr. Jeff, because he's an expert in ligament injuries that don't show up on MRI, but other types of visually based systems, we're working with him to implement some of that into this, which will help our affiliates, which will get us more affiliates.
For Dr. Matt, for Dr. Jeff, this is from Don Jenks. It says, Dr. Jeff, we heard why Dr. Matt is excited about QVH. What excites you the most?
Actually, that's a very good question. What excited me the most right from the get-go is I'm a results-oriented guy. I'm a guy that says, look, in this market, it's very clear in the market the results are currently not there. When you look at the chronic pain markers in society today, obviously our doctors are failing. And that's the whole transparency era, the era of being completely transparent now, because if you're going to get results, you have to be transparent. And when Dr. Donovan showed me the system, it was immediately, okay, great, this is transparent. It videos exactly what the procedure is. It videos what's being produced. It produces better results, which is what I'm all about, is better results in the market, because anybody that can create better results in the market, whether those results are surgically based, whether those results are alternatively based, therapeutically based through conservative care procedures, all the way up the line to the most aggressive or invasive procedures, anything that improves results is going to be very, very market friendly in this new market, because this new market is searching heavily. I don't care if you look at the U.S. Insurance market, or you look in the injury market. I happen to be in the spine injury market. When we're talking about personal injury, you're talking about spinal injuries. Those are the most significant injuries in the market today. We're a company, Spinal Kinetics, where we're providing a diagnostic solution, a actual biomarker to the condition called the ligament injury. And that ligament injury is the #1 cause of pain and disability in the world today. When we saw and aligned with Dr. Donovan, it was very easy to see that the actual technologies had identical purposes. And so that's what was so exciting about it for me, is these are solutions that the market openly needs. It's openly starting to actually address and acknowledge that it needs solutions to these problems. And so, what really got me excited was the fact that here's another solution provider that can provide a absolutely needed solution in the market. And so, that's the thing that got me excited, and also the synergy of the markets right now, and how these markets can open up, which Dr. Donovan and I have discussed, and Dr. DiGaetano is, going to be hugely involved with just opening up and messaging to the market that these technologies are here.
Okay, that sounded like a pretty good answer to the question. Let's do 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. From Harold Gabori, a follow-up here. Well, let's see. Marketing is the hardest part of making something successful. If you have different applications for your Halo, one person can't do it all by himself. Do we have any plans to get a sales force involved so that sales could someday explode?
Your comments are absolutely correct. And in healthcare, we're a new entity with a unique product. We had to make sure that we had all the approvals. I have David working on spin-off products. We have talked, and we've had previous hires from traditional medical healthcare marketers. We've reassessed those, and we feel that Doctors Jeff and Matt can be directing us into the right direction. Will we be building out a sales and marketing? Yes, but the approach is going to be different than we've done in the past. The people we've hired before have failed. And I think what Dr. Jeff was saying, and Dr. Matt, it's a unique product. We're developing additional products. I believe 2016 is going to bear some fruit on expanded marketing and sales.
Okay, here's the last one. It's a 2-part question. Any recurring revenue stream from the TeleShare, and how do we make, that's 2 questions. Any recording revenue stream, I guess, in any of the businesses that we currently have, and the second part is how do we make money with the QVH Care TeleShare program?
First thing we're trying to figure out, will it work? I think it will.
Which one are we talking about?
TeleShare.
Okay.
That's what I thought the question dealt with TeleShare. Number 2.
Both.
I'm sorry. TeleShare.
It just said, is there any of our businesses that have a recurring revenue stream? Any of our products? Was the first question, and this is the second. The second part has to do with TeleShare.
Okay. Sorry, misunderstood. Okay, in the QVH, if you're leasing it, $2,500 a month plus, I believe, $1,500 for the DVDs. If you purchase it outright, you still have to pay for the DVDs. On TeleShare, I believe we're going to be able to show that it will work. And then how do we develop a monthly subscription? First, to join, you would put up some money to join in a monthly subscription. This is what we're working through right now. We want to see how the technology works. And here's David. Let David comment on ancillary income.
The QVH Care, the telemedicine side, again, like I briefly touched on, that will be, I guess, for me to go into further depth, is that the pricing model is going to be based off subscription, no doubt, because it involves the cloud storage and then also the streaming, and it's got monthly subscription just like you'd have bandwidth at your home. The Quad Video Halo has 3 different price points on it. One program is the per click on demand. There is the lease option, and then there's a straight out option to buy the equipment. They all provide all three of those options. Give you the DVDs if those are relevant for your needs. If not, we can put it in the cloud. There's a revenue source there, and also and then that also comes with complimentary support, additional comp support packages depending on the level of technical support that you do need at your facility. So I hope I've answered that.
Well, that's it for our questions. Dr. Donovan, would you like to make a closing comment, or anyone?
Just my closing comment is to our shareholders, we're doing everything. This is why we've been able to get Dr. Jeff involved, Dr. Matt involved, why we're developing these products. And I feel that's why I think 16 is going to be a year of opportunity. And I just want to thank everyone for taking time from your busy day to listen to what we're doing. Terrific questions. And we will be back with you with Q1.
Thank you. And
in early April. Yep.
Thank you. And we're going to go off the air right now.